Welcome to I Want to Like This. For those new to the podcast, I Want to Like This is pretty simple. I ask a friend or a comedian or someone I find entertaining to come on, talk about a movie or a piece of entertainment, or even a piece of their life that they got really excited about and then were horribly disappointed by. What we do is we explain why the person got excited, what they actually liked about this piece, and then what disappointed them, what made this awful for them. But I don't like to be just negative, so here at I Want to Like This, we ask the person, what would they have done differently? What would have made it for them special, and what would have made it stand out as exactly and hopefully what they expected? Today's episode is Brandon K. Brandon K is a funny comedian and friend of mine. We see each other at many an anime convention where he does stand-up and hosts a show called Whose Line Is It Anime? And yes, it is a derivative of Whose Line Is It Anyway, but it's a lot of fun and it's done by a bunch of nerds. Brandon and I got to nerd out and talk about Man of Steel and why it was such a horrible nightmare for people who actually care about the character of Clark and his big blue Boy Scout self, and why that fills us with hope, and why we are currently filled with dread about the impending DC cinematic universe. I hope you like this as two grown men become children in front of your very ears. That doesn't make sense, in front of your ears. Whatever. Anyway, I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoy this, and here we go. Yes.
I literally forgot that dude's name too.
Oh, Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I remember Henry Cavill, and I remember
Amy
Adams, Diane Lane, Kevin Costner, Russell Crowe. Who was Zod? Michael Shannon. Oh man, I always feel weird when someone has a woman's last name. Like, a gender-specific last name always seems weird to me.
Especially when they're like, it's a newspaper thing, and it's like, Shannon went to the movies and got shot. It's like, boy or girl, I need to know.
I don't, look, it's just weird, like, gender-specific last names. You would think you'd pick something neutral.
Does anybody know where Sydney would be?
Drunk?
No.
Bar?
My first reaction was drunk.
Don't you have her phone number?
I called her and she didn't.
I love how we started recording, and everyone came back in.
I didn't know.
It's okay, I can cut this out. I'm not going to cut this out. I can probably cut this out.
I don't know that we're going to have a podium match.
Dang it.
I just don't like the whole Clark's father.
No, nobody really likes Clark's father.
I think that's part of the thing we have to talk about, so let's try not to talk about it while everyone else is in the room and I have to cut out everything.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna just emote.
No, it's fine.
Thoughts right here,
It's a very emotional experience, and we're going to interrupt it.
It is actually kind of is when you're talking about a movie you actually thought was going to be good, and it just kind of dashed your fucking. Actually, I didn't. I hoped it would be good. No, I saw it. I've seen it a couple times because I fucking love Superman. He's my moral goddamn compass. I don't believe in Jesus or any of that shit, but I believe in Superman. Well, no one ever told me Superman was real. Right from day one, I knew it. This is kind of an allegory. Cool. Done.
I have a lot of friends, Christian friends, who say, well, Superman is basically just like Jesus. It's like, oh.
Yeah, Jesus and Moses. He was written by two Jews. Of course he is.
Make sure we get it.
Explains the dark hair.
Kind of does.
When you walk out, can you shut the door?
Yeah.
Thank you. Or, yeah.
No man has to walk off. That's the problem.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, do we have the... Yeah. Do we have the cast list?
Alright.
Yeah, I think it's been recording this whole time. I don't know. Yeah, it's recording.
Okay.
Cool beans. I'll make some weird intro. I'll cut an intro into this.
Sure,
It's not rocket science.
Let's do art of wrestling style. Just ramble on for like 15 minutes and then bring what you're actually talking to on.
I'm quite fine with that. I still got to do the fur one.
See if you can shill some earbuds.
What's
that?
See if I can shell someone's product and get some free shit.
Earbuds or something.
That'd be nice.
Have a song of the week. I don't know.
This next program brought to you by Coke Zero.
What I would love, not Coke Zero. I don't drink Coke Zero. If Guinness or Coca-Cola wants to sponsor me, that'd be rad. This is actually the first one. This is the first one I'm recording. This is kind of fun.
Right. I'm numero uno, huh?
You are numero uno.
Man,
Giant size Brandon.
Giant size Brandon, star of nothing, writer of a show that we do at conventions from time to time. Sometimes stand-up comedian.
Yeah. I think you're a funny stand-up comedian.
I do pretty well for
and
myself.
a decently clever human being.
Let's not get into that. I do have the cast list pulled up here.
We have the cast list?
I guess.
Okay, so cast list of Man of Steel.
That would be Henry Cavill as Clark Kent / Kal-El / well, no, you can't actually use Superman because nobody actually called him Superman in the film, did they?
No, they did.
Did
they? Did. The scene where the military person goes, they're on their way with the general's on his way with Superman, and this general's like, Superman? Yeah, that's what they're calling the alien. They straight up refer to him as Superman.
Right,
Lois almost says it in the interrogation scene.
Okay.
And then the fucking loudspeaker bullshit.
Right, yeah. It's, Amy, speaking of Lois Lane, Amy Adams is Lois Lane.
Nice.
Yeah, Michael Shannon as General Zod.
Once again, men with
Men with-
gender-specific last
men
names
with,
weird me out. Like people named Tyler. Their last name. It's just, no, that's a fucking first name. Stop it.
Let's see. Diane Lane as Martha Kent.
Oh.
Russell Crowe as Jor-El.
Russell Crowe gets top billing over Kevin Costner?
Over, actually, yeah, he does.
As Jonathan
In
Kent?
fact, Kevin Costner is like way down the list here. He's actually listed after Aunt J. Traue.
Anthony Traue?
Aunt J.
Oh. Okay. I don't know.
The lady who plays General Zod's head.
Fiora?
Yeah.
Ah.
Harry. They actually named the general who shows up at the end. Harry Lennox is General Swanwick.
Yep.
Richard Schiff as Dr. Emil Hamilton.
Emil Hamilton. He'll play a big role if they actually put Star Labs in anything.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Christopher Maloney gets top billing over Kevin Costner. Fantastic.
Jesus Christ.
As Colonel Nathan Hardy. And actually, it's Kevin Costner is Jonathan Kent. There he is.
Okay, there we go. That's all we really need to know about the cast. Brandon, you picked Man of Steel. Is there anything that, one, you love Superman?
Superman's a great character. It's sort of been spoiled in a sort of modern world. I guess where Grimdark sort of rules, and yeah, I know.
You know how I feel. I'm a big Superman proponent myself.
Yeah,
I think what the world really does need now is hope.
Yeah, the world really does need hope more than anything, and Superman really kind of represents that more than anything, really.
Yeah. The S on his chest represents it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I think they got right that made me smile.
I like that. That's one of the few things I they did the small touches, certain small touches really well, I thought. Your friend over there is not a fan of Superman, is
Yeah. My friend Zach Sierra is in the room. He is not a fan of Superman. He's kind of a Marvel boy. He's not really going to talk much, so it doesn't matter.
I was a Nintendo / Sega kid so I learned very early on to play for both teams. So
I didn't hate Marvel. Everyone liked Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I loved... Everyone did. Everyone really did. I was a big X-Men fan. But I'm one of the few people who's like, no, dude, Scott Summers gets a bad rap. Because he's the only actual hero. My two heroes growing up were Captain America and Superman. And then later, when I was 12, I got into Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. So I'm a DC fan.
No, yeah.
Everyone loved Batman.
Well, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll talk about Batman in a later episode if you guys want to do that. But
that'd be cool. But okay, so things you liked about Man of Steel.
Things I liked about Man of Steel. I think the easiest thing to put out there is the action scenes are very, 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 very good.
Zack Snyder does do action films very well.
Snyder can fucking shoot an action scene if he really feels like it.
Well, Sucker Punch is really pretty looking.
Yeah, it is. In more ways than one. You. Alright, I don't think it's ever in the cartoons they can get away with it because they can actually get away with like showing like what's his name? Not Dark. Is it Darkseid?
Darkseid? They do show Darkseid, yeah.
Darkseid, and they can actually have like in the cartoons you can actually have like knockdown, drag out fucking fights with people, and I don't think that's ever really been done in the movies.
Well, the thing is, even in the movies, even in the cartoon, the knockdown, drag out fights, it's always Superman trying to keep them away from destruction.
Right.
Like, Superman's always throwing himself in front of punches so they're not throwing themselves through buildings.
Right.
Like, Superman's never the one throwing someone through buildings. He's always the one getting thrown through buildings trying to stop something.
Exactly.
And save people.
Right. And, and that was more or less ignoring that. Bill.
Yeah, Superman just lets go and just starts fucking killing people left and right.
And I was about to say that was like, maybe it's because he's young, but he's like 33, so he should actually kind of know better. But I guess that's the we were talking about the Jesus analysis. He's 33 for Christ's sakes. Way to go, Zack Snyder.
For Christ's sakes.
Did I do a pun? Yeah,
you did a pun without even knowing it.
I'm cleverer than I thought. Let's see.
The unwitting comedian, even at the moment.
Oh man. You know what? I gotta say I did like Henry Cavill as Superman. He looked good in the suit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't have any problems with any of the casting.
No, I really kind of don't.
Henry Cavill, even though he's British, he pulled off all-American charm really well.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good at that. I guess maybe it's just because British people are more charming than us.
Yeah, he's also not a bad-looking dude.
He's not. He really is not.
He's not. He's a handsome guy. And then they paired him with Amy Adams, who's gorgeous.
He's a gorgeous woman. No, actually, the casting is
much better than Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane.
That's funny because I actually like Superman Returns better than I like the Man of Steel. And if Nick were in here, he'd probably
kill you. Yeah.
No, he loves Superman Returns.
Really?
Oh yeah. Unironically.
The only thing I loved about Superman Returns, aside from the suit, because the suit was done right in Superman Returns,
it really was.
is Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I'll watch Kevin Spacey chew the scenery in anything.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
That was my favorite meme for a while. Wrong. Alright, let's see. I like the casting. I like the action scenes.
Is there anything story or writing wise that you thought they did right?
Like you said, I like the little hope scene. I like the. I don't want to be that guy who's like doing the little twiddling my thumbs over your.
Can I tell you something I liked?
What's up?
The scene with Diane Lane at the school when young Clark loses his fucking shit because he's just seeing through people and hearing everything. Yeah. And Diane Lane is a real caring mother. One of his parents give a shit about him in this movie. Exactly. She talks him down.
We'll get on John Kent's case in a little while here.
Yeah.
No, it's actually like a genuinely touching scene.
It is.
One of the more touching scenes in the film.
It's that and their portrayal of Lois I like. Because Lois is, for the first time, they portray a Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalist as actually seeing and finding out who Clark is.
Right.
Which always kind of upset me. The only time there's been a portrayal of Clark and Superman that I thought, no one would fucking understand this, has always been Christopher Reeve.
Right.
Because he played them as so two different people.
Right. I could actually go on. Christopher Reeve as Superman for
so goddamn good.
So great. Do you want to talk about the bad stuff now?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's kind of half of why we're here.
Fucking everything else. How was that sound? God damn it. It's really weird that Superman's actual father figure in his life is a real shitbag.
Yes.
An awful person.
Oh my God! Who wrote Jonathan Kent in this?
I honestly don't. Who were the actual writers of it? Was it Zack Snyder writing for
Zack Snyder wrote part of it. Like he had some kind of control. I know that Christopher Nolan actually distanced himself from this. David Goyer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Furr.
That is a name I do recognize, isn't it? All right.
David Goyer. Yeah.
All right.
Well, he shit the bed.
Yeah, he really fucking did.
You know what really upsets me about that? We had 10 good years of a Jonathan Kent that really got Jonathan Kent.
Right.
Well, it wasn't 10 years because he dropped off in like the 7th season. But
from Bo Duke of all fucking people.
Yeah, from Bo Duke, just laying it down as just a great dad that as a kid who didn't have a dad growing up,
Right.
I wanted Jonathan Kent to be my dad.
I can do it. Yeah, I can dig it.
And even the Jonathan Kent in Lois and Clark: New Adventures of Superman, he was a caring father that you trusted the words that came out of this farmer's mouth.
Right.
And you knew he wanted not only what was best for his son, but he wanted what was best for people. And fucking Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel is such a dickbag.
Douchebag. How are you ever going to like make it okay for this father figure in a young child's life who does not understand what he is, where he's from, what kind of situation he is, and basically tell this kid, you should have let those fucking kids die?
Yeah. Oh my God.
How do you make that even a little bit okay?
They had one moment with Jonathan Kent that actually mattered. And that was the moment where he shows him the ship.
Right.
And Clark's like, "Can't I just be your son?" And he's like, "You are my son."
Yeah. And
that's it. That's Jonathan
great.
Kent's good dad moment.
That's great. And I wish that had fucking lasted because it sure didn't.
No.
He's dumb as... I can't believe how dumb as fucking shit he is, too. He's like, so... The tornado scene. So the tornado scene...
No, let's not even get to the tornado scene yet. That scene where he's getting bullied.
Right.
Jonathan Kent just shows up, "You okay?" No emotion, no tone in his voice. Just,
Right.
"Are you okay, little alien child that I've been forced to raise?" You can say something, Zach. Go for it.
Speak up.
It's just such a weird turn for the character. Like, based on the way Jonathan Kent was in the movie, Superman shouldn't have turned out
At all good.
Superman.
Yeah, he
Right.
shouldn't have wanted to save anyone's life. He should have just wanted to stay in hiding for all eternity.
Right.
He should have been just afraid of himself. Actually, that would have been fantastic.
Should have turned into like Elsa from Frozen. Like,
You know, I would have...
Just run up into the hills and sing. Well, he did go to the North Pole pretty much,
There
so
you go.
he was there.
Superman listens to the Cure a lot, maybe.
You know, I thought we had emo Superman in in Superman Returns because
Right.
he's just emo Superman watching Lois
Right,
Lane
kinda
and jerking
whining,
off from the
yeah.
windowsill. But
It's like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man.
in Spider-Man 3, yeah, that was the Tobey Maguire performance. And it's no offense to Tobey Maguire, he had to fucking read lines off a goddamn script that was shit. And the same thing goes for Henry Cavill here.
Right.
The script just pisses me off.
No.
But then, yeah, the death of Jonathan Kent.
So here's what strikes me as dumb about that scene. The whole fucking town knows he's Superman.
Pretty much, yeah. The
Yeah.
whole time, he like in Smallville, he's real clever about hiding
Yeah.
what he does with his powers.
Yeah.
In this one, he's just fucking blatantly doing shit.
And so this tornado hits, and Jonathan Kent who sacrifices himself to keep Clark from presenting himself as a superpowered being by letting a tornado suck him up. And it's like, well, all right. At least I don't have to fucking listen to you, the bitch at Clark Kent, for another half an hour.
He did it for the dog.
He did it.
He sent Clark, who he knows is indestructible, with his mom to go into the underpass to hide from the tornado so he can save the dog.
Right.
The dog makes it out alive, by the way.
I'm guessing.
Crypto fucking makes it out alive.
You know,
I wish it was Crypto.
I wish. That'd have been a way better movie if it had been Crypto.
oh my god.
You know what? This is a kind of, maybe it might be a weird complaint. I don't like some of the random cursing and I'm for full fucking law.
Yeah, you will swear.
But the random like weird cussing in the movie, like Lois Lane is telling this army captain, like, "Are you done measuring dicks?" It's like, well, that's supposed to make her look grimdark, or
Yeah, I like they
and
just.
this kid is like, and this kid who's bullying Clark is like, "Hey, Dick Splash," is like, well, that was.
Okay, Dick Splash I'm okay with because that is something some stupid asshole who's
Right,
harassing
well,
someone would say.
Yeah.
But Lois, I just Lois could not have some decorum. She was a military brat. She
Yeah.
might have that in her.
Right.
So I can let that part of dialogue go. You know what? I can't let. Okay, Henry Cavill did act really good in almost every scene,
Yeah.
except for the scene right before his dad's death, where they're fighting in the car. It was so bland. He's like, "Ugh, you're not even my father."
Oh.
Like, it wasn't angry teenage fucking Superman. It was just like, "You're not even my dad." He was so disinterested in emo. Like, I fucking, how are
He's so
you ever
fucking
going to save the world?
it's kind of funny how matter of fact it is. It's like, you're not even my dad. Shut up. dick.
Yeah, God forbid you raised me and shit. Well, you didn't really. Mom was caring, but you were kind of a cunt.
Yeah. Henry Cavill trying to play off being like an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Really.
You know what it is? I think, you know what got me about that? I don't think any British child has ever yelled at their parent like that.
No.
In such defiance. He's like,
Right.
I don't know how to do this. How do I emote this? And Zack Snyder's like, I'll fix it in post. Because that seems to be his solution to things.
Right. I guess the only time the British defy their parents is when they don't want to like join the horse race or whatever they fuck British people. I'm going off like
We're not Zionists.
No, we're not.
Well,
God, I know it's. I'm actually going off memory. I know you actually fucking prepared.
I did prepare for this.
Yeah.
I could say a lot of things because I agree with you. I hate this fucking film.
Right. Here's the thing, though. I left that movie theater super satisfied for some reason. I was like, man, I liked watching that movie.
There's so many pretty things in it. You're distracted.
Right.
But when you think about the movie, you're like, this was fucking sucks.
Actually, a friend of mine. Do you know who Brandon Stroud is?
Yes, I know who Brandon Stroud is.
Okay, he's. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this. He's more or less a friend of mine. I've known him. I've actually read his writing for a goddamn near 14 years.
Yeah.
He's a very intelligent individual and kind of super sensitive, so I won't say too much if he's listening. But sorry, Stroud. But he ran this this forum, this message board called Progressive Boink for so many years.
Yeah.
And there's obviously different sections. He obviously had his own sports section, and there's a movie section, and like one of the terms he came up with is crystal sculling.
Crystal sculling?
Yeah, and what crystal sculling is like when you leave a movie like thinking like, man, that was great. I fucking love that. That was good. And then you think about it, and more you're just like thinking to yourself, man, that fucking sucked. That was the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen.
That's what Dark Knight Rises was for me. And that's actually what Man of Steel was for me. But I have an excuse for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I saw Man of Steel with an incredibly beautiful, buxom girl in a very low-cut sundress.
All right.
And I lost focus on Man of Steel a couple times, which is saying a lot because I love Superman. But, God, she is a gorgeous girl. And if she ever listens to this, she's going to be like, oh, yeah, I did wear that dress.
Oh. Thank you.
Face like an angel, body made for sin is I think something I said to her once.
I actually saw Dark Knight Returns with a girl that I thought maybe would see more of, but did not. But anyway, I did walk away from Dark Knight Returns feeling very good about it, and then on the car ride home, I was like, no, that didn't seem to make sense. That sucked. That was dumb. Why did that happen? Like, why
Okay, we can do Dark Knight Returns on another movie. We said Batman another time.
Yeah.
We got Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
We left feeling good about it, but the longer you think of it, the longer it sits with you, the more you realize this is not a good one. It's not a good movie.
No.
2, it's not a good Superman story. It's not true to Superman.
No.
And I think that's my big problem with it.
Right. In that regards, is I don't read the comics very often. We have actually talked about this a while ago, and I don't read comics as much as I'd like to. I never had a comic shop growing up in my town.
I had to travel to Madison to get a comic.
Yeah,
and now Chicago.
Like Lacrosse only recently started opening up hobby shops and stuff like that, and I lived in Podunk, Sparta, so without a car until I was 18 years old. So anyway, so basically, most of what I had to go off was. I actually grew up watching the 50s Superman, which is
George Reeves.
Yeah, George Reeves, which is a not great show, but a fun show.
Yeah,
it's a really fun show to watch.
Super fun, and Superman is a good dude.
Yeah, obviously it's the 50s, so everything is built around making sure Superman and Clark Kent to a certain extent is he's a good guy.
He's a creation of the 20s. Yeah, he came out of the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm. And then I would let's see. Along came Lois and Clark, which is not great, but also for its time was fun.
I fucking love Lois and Clark. Yeah. That was one of I grew up with that Superman and Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, Dean Cain actually looked pretty good for himself as a Superman.
Yeah,
and
he filled the suit well, and he did well as a very competent reporter, Clark Kent.
And he did, and Terry Hatcher's Lois Lane. God
Jesus Christ, she was gorgeous. Stems up the year.
damn. And eventually, at around 10, I did not see the first Superman film first. I saw Superman 2 first, and that's maybe why it's my favorite Superman film of all time. It's and after seeing the first Superman film and then Superman 2, it's still my first favorite Superman film of all time because it's just so much fucking fun to watch.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve is a great actor.
He's fantastic.
Margot Kidder is like a lot of fun as Lois Lane.
Totally buy that she's a gutsy reporter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't take her long to see through the Clark disguise.
No. And I talked about this earlier, and I know I said that like Man of Steel felt like they got the fight scenes pretty good, but the end battle between Zod and Nod and
It was wrong. It's wrong.
No, yeah, it was. It really was because Superman kind of stood and fight for a while, which is not like a very Superman thing to do. But at the time, I was like a young kid, so I was like, yeah, superpowers, battles, woo! This lady dressed in leather is making me feel things that I don't think I've felt before. What is this? I don't have the internet yet. I guess I talk about Superman 2 to talk about Superman the movie. It's just the entire point of Superman the movie was like to put over like this action because have you seen Look Up in the Sky?
Yes.
Okay, because they talk about the making of the film and like I understand like 4 different writers had this in their hands.
Yes. Originally, Richard Donner had planned for Superman 1 and 2 to be one film.
Right. And of course they had to cut that in half.
Yeah.
And they fired Richard Donner because the Salkins are...
Yeah.
Salkins? Yeah, Salkins.
And that's how we got the stupid plastic shield.
Yeah. Anyway, the entire... Basically what Mario Puzo was, I believe, for the first draft of the first film.
Yes.
And basically Mario Puzo read into Superman as like basically a Greek tragedy / the story of Jesus.
Yes. He kind of is.
He very much is.
He's totally Moses or Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, he was written by 2 Jewish kids.
Yeah.
Joe Shuster and all them. And
Joe Shuster, who needed Jesus, apparently. I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know?
Yeah, I know a lot of the stuff for the source.
All right.
But, like, it's very Moses-esque, too. Mm-hmm. Boy sent down the river in the swaddling clothes is sent to a planet in a rocket ship.
And the entire point of the first Superman film basically is to get over the fact that this very, very kind man who's not from this world loves his chosen, his chosen family, his people, loves everything about us and wants, to help us be better people. And, and obviously the other part was, getting over the fact that I like the flying scenes in the first film, by the way.
Yes.
Those are great scenes. And you kind of leave Superman the movie feeling like, man, I kind of feel good about myself right about now.
I think the tagline for the Superman release was, "You'll believe a man can fly."
Right, exactly.
And there was something in the flight, and even with the flight with Lois, there's a moment, like, Superman feels, you can see when he goes to meet Lois for the date as Clark after it, where he thinks that he debates telling her. He takes off the glasses, stands up straight, pulls out his real Superman voice, and gets ready to talk to her, and then thinks better of it, puts the glasses back on, and goes back to fuddling with his hat. In that moment before, you saw that even though he's Superman, even though he got bullied in school and all that, he had his family, and he can enjoy his powers. He enjoys flying.
Right.
There's joy in his flight.
Right.
And then he is still this conflicted man. He can never be who he wants to be with the person he wants to be with most.
Right.
Which makes the Richard Donner cut from Superman 2 almost worse. Because originally, Richard Donner almost had like the greatest Greek tragedy of movie endings. Because at the end, there's this scene where Clark comes into the Daily Planet and Lois is there. And now, since he took his powers back, he can't be with her.
Right.
And they both know who each other are. And they both know they love each other. And they look, and you can just feel the heartbreak in both of them. And it's this beautiful, poignant moment that adds emotion to him.
Right.
In the non-Richard Donner cut, he kisses her and she forgets.
Right, that's just
And it's stupid.
That's just a magic
In the
power,
Richard Donner cut, because it was supposed to be one movie, that's when he flies around the world backwards and reverses time,
Right.
and that's how she forgets.
Okay.
And either way, he just undoes, and it's one of those things where why do you have to win the fight if you could have just reversed time?
Yeah.
And it makes it superfluous, and it also takes this heartbreaking moment away, which is such good cinema.
Yeah.
It was the Casablanca moment of superhero films.
Yeah, I can get behind that. And where's my train of thought here?
I don't know. The fight scene, we were discussing how Superman 1 made you feel happy and hopeful.
Superman, yeah, it did. It really did. And then Man of Steel came along, and fuck that shit.
Oh,
Do you guys remember 9/11? Here's all these buildings exploding. Does that remind you of anything? Did you?
The whole fight in Superman 2 is him trying to keep Zod and them from destroying and killing people.
Yeah.
That's it. And next thing you know, he's throwing fucking Zod through buildings, and then, like, we're supposed to have this moment where he's killing Zod, and it's like, how many fucking millions of people already died in all these goddamn buildings that you destroyed? Like, yes, a lot of people died, a lot of the city was leveled by the big fucking machine, the terraforming machine. But that doesn't stop how many buildings he threw people through.
Yeah.
Like, even in Smallville, he fucks up his hometown.
Yeah.
He does it. It's not him getting thrown through buildings. He legit throws people through buildings.
Yeah.
Just fucking up the place.
But man, I could go for some IHOP after I shop from Sears and go to 7-Eleven?
Yes.
It was probably
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
That's actually shot in Plano. That's John's hometown. They still have the mural, the big flag that says Smallville. I got a nice picture of it.
Oh, okay.
It's the best thing to come out of that movie is I got that picture next to a thing that says Smallville.
Beautiful. Actually, they filmed in Chicago, did they not?
They filmed Metropolis in Chicago,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
They filmed Gotham in the first two Dark Knight films in Chicago, too.
You can't really go to New York and make it dreary anymore because they actually sort of cleaned that up.
Well, also, New York's not given tax incentives like Illinois is just for
Right.
someone to do something
Oh,
there.
yeah. I guess that's why most people try to sub Toronto for New York nowadays.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's just like, is this our fucking hero? Just like throwing people, like, how many people died? There's like gotta be I actually read the death count is like somewhere in the 100 millions.
Ugh.
And I'm not sure how accurate that would be, but it's probably true.
Yeah,
there's
easily.
there had to be-
Especially, it's Metropolis. It's
Yeah.
it's called Metropolis because it's supposed to be the biggest city in the world.
Right. And like your leaves, man, and I, like I said, I left Man of Steel feeling like, it was pretty good. But you kind of upon rewatching, it's like you kind of like leave Man of Steel feeling like, man, if that's our hero, we're super boned. Like.
Okay, so big complaints are Superman just fucking destroys to save the world,
Right.
and it's not true to Superman. Like,
No,
he wouldn't do that.
Like not even.
And then Jonathan Kent's just treated like shit.
Right.
Zod might be the most Zod of anything.
I like Michael Shannon's Zod. I don't understand. I guess if people kind of like balked at his voice, but it's like, what are you doing balking at his voice for? It's like you could get over Bane having a weird voice, but you could probably.
I couldn't get over Bane not being Brazilian.
Yeah.
And in a lucha hood.
It's true. I mean, it's kind of fun going. Oh, Batman, you studied under the darkness, but
I was
Michael
born in
Shannon.
the darkness.
I was born in the darkness. Actually, Michael Shannon's Zod is fun to do too.
Yes.
Like his, I will find him, or whatever he says. I can't quote him very well because it's been a while. But Michael Shannon, I think Michael Shannon had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the best you can do with your villains. Just tell your actors for your villains just have some fucking fun.
Shoot fucking
That's-
scenery.
Yeah, just shoot scenery, and those are the best kinds of villains.
So, omniscient action hero Jor-El.
You
Yeah.
know, man, the first part of Man of Steel feels like an entirely different film from the rest of the film, does it not?
Feels like leftover cutscenes from Avatar.
Right.
You have flying lizards and you have explosions
Like,
with
I don't know
ships.
if they had. I don't know. It was kind of fun to watch. I guess it sort of felt like I was playing a video game for a little while. That's kind of
very neat to watch.
Yeah.
I could say that about everything Zack Snyder's filmed, though.
Yeah, it's true. Man, I remember when 300 came out. And I did not see that in theaters.
I did. It was fucking rad.
Right. But I watched 300 with my dad on DVD when it came out, and Dad was more confused than anything, and I was just like watching it, and it was like, this is what I was supposed to be like super into. This is cool, but not
near as good as what you thought it was.
Yeah. Maybe and a lot of times the theater really does make a difference.
Theater atmosphere is awesome, especially when it's something like 300, because there's like so many military chants, and then you're all in there.
Yeah.
It's like just fucking feeding testosterone into that place. I think they just pump testosterone into the air in those. So you're like, yeah! I could fucking kick someone into a hole. Yelling shit.
See the Oracle's boobs. But he can make a really pretty film, but making a good film, I'm not so sure about. I don't think I've ever actually really liked a Zack Snyder film.
No.
Not even like. I remember a lot of people raving about Dawn of the Dead when he remade it.
No.
And I just was not about it.
You can take stills and short footage of it. He makes movies great for trailers.
He really does.
Because every trailer of every movie of his makes me want to see it, and then I see it and I go, oh yeah, Zack Snyder, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Like Sucker Punch. Holy crap, was that trailer awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, if Sucker Punch had stayed like the first 3 minutes of it, where it's just basically a music video, and the whole movie was that, you didn't have to hear anything, it would be pretty entertaining.
Like Zeppelin music is playing, shit.
Well, a lot of the music they had in it was great.
Yeah.
The dialogue is just trash. Everything about Zack Snyder just feels like anything that involves women with Zack Snyder just feels like he's making something he can jerk off to later.
Right. And I've read people try to portray that movie as like a feminist like trumpeter, and it was like, how?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's empowering to I'm not a woman, so I can't really, comment, but I don't really see how this is like empowering to anyone really.
Women really loved the cosplay for it for the first 2 years after it.
No, they did. That was nice. But no, everything about most things about Man of Steel looked pretty.
Yeah.
But it just didn't really leave a very good impression on me. None of it really did.
Well, we can't shit on it for ages. Well, I mean, a lot of people worked on it, and I'm pretty sure people put their heart and soul into it.
Yeah. When you saw, you saw? I'm sure you did. You saw the first trailer for Man of Steel, yes?
I saw every trailer for Man of Steel.
I watched that first trailer and I was like, this feels like a Morrissey video, but like great. I like Morrissey actually a little bit more now, but
so
like it's like pretty and like fills me with like these really cool feelings, like one like those still shots of like the butterfly and the chain, and you like Lois, not Lois, I'm sorry, Ma Kent's voiceover, and like then it cuts to the scene of like Superman like zooming through the sky. It's like, man, I'm ready for Man of Steel. All right. I was really set. I was set up to be let down. Basically, it just didn't turn out.
With that being said, you know what the other part of this discussion is?
Yes, I believe I'm supposed to tell you how it could have been better.
Not just how would you make the Superman movie?
How would I have made a Superman film? I don't like. I would have taken a lot of what the original Christopher Reeves film had done. I don't want to make a super big love letter to it like Bryan Singer did.
Yes.
Because that kind of traps you in a way. I see a lot of value in taking elements of things and like balling it into one like super cool thing. I don't like ripping things off, even though most of my stand up is like ripped off. But no, I'm just kidding.
It's not true at all, folks. He's actually quite funny and original.
But I would not shoot any scenes on Krypton like at all. I would like. Actually, you know what would be a really good Superman movie? Just like making All-Star Superman, like the movie.
All-Star Superman, I could totally see that.
And what I would actually that was
another Grant Morrison
my
title.
favorite page besides like the Superman hugging the girl who was going to jump, which is my favorite comic panel of all time. But one of my favorite pages of the All-Star Superman is like the first 4 panels are like, you know, dying planet, child from the stars, you know, like Earth parents, and you know, then it just basically flashes forward to Superman. Like I kind of see a value to that. Like, in fact, most origin stories don't do very well as like maybe the one origin story film I really liked was the first Iron Man.
Iron Man was a good origin story film.
And well, I guess in First Avenger too. No,
First Avenger is an origin story, and I think we've had this discussion before. Yeah. I think First Avenger is pitch perfect. It's like a great period piece.
Yeah, it's a great
great jumping point for Captain America.
But the problem with a lot of origin stories is it takes super fucking long for anything to happen.
Yeah, and a lot of the ones that we get, we're never getting the origin stories of characters we don't know. Yeah. We're getting the origin stories of every fucking character we know. Because we keep making the same fucking... I don't need to see Parker bit by a spider. I don't need to see Bruce's parents get shot. I don't need to see fucking Jor-El and Krypton. I don't.
But yeah, I feel like that's a thing that I would do. Like, you know, dying planet, child from the stars, this. Here's their story. Here's Superman. And that actually the first. That's it. But we can talk. Actually, honestly, the first Batman film by Tim Burton was an entire conversation unto itself. But
I love that film, but there's a lot of problems with it. But I love it. It was, for its time, it was the darkest Batman had ever gotten.
Yeah.
Film.
One of the things I thought they did well was with that movie is like Batman's already like in action by the time that film starts, and like through flashbacks you see like little bits of his past, and you know like Thomas and Martha Wayne being shot, and you know I thought that was a really smart choice. I think it's a great choice. I mean, well, I don't think Thomas and Martha Wayne should have been shot. I mean, that was a smart choice of film
of how to handle them getting shot.
Right.
It is a pinnacle moment for that character to be like, my parents were shot in front of me, I'm going to cry about it for the next 30 years and learn ninjutsu.
Better than I would have handled it probably. But
yeah. Ooh, that being said, the flashback thing. The flashbacks they use, how do you feel about that cutting style? That they jump back and forth to explain the story? Before, like, is that something you could use?
I think that is. I do kind of like the flashback style better than like, here's this happening, here's this happening, here's this. Well, that's probably one of the things I probably wouldn't like very much about the first Superman film, because it takes fucking forever.
It's so straightly linear,
right? It takes fucking forever for him to actually become Superman, and you know, I came to see a Superman film. I'm fucking ready to see some Superman, and I don't think that Zack Snyder's Man of Steel really beat around the bush as much as like the first Superman film did, but it really did kind of feel like a long time before actually anything was happening.
He is doing super feats really early on.
He's doing some super feats. He's doing his world travel thing. He's got a beard. He looks like a trucker.
He looked like a fucking drifter. He was a drifter.
He was.
Drifter fucking Superman.
But yeah, I would basically, I want to make the first 90-minute Superman film. That's what I would do.
That would be great. Hey, wait, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen or read, you should if you haven't, when they relaunched the New 52, they started Action Comics back up again. Grant Morrison did the run to explain the first year and so of Superman. Like the first Superman stories.
I feel like that would be a great thing to read, yeah.
The jumping off point, the first panel is Superman holding a corrupt billionaire on his plaza, like off his terrace, getting ready to throw him to the ground in costume, which isn't the full costume yet. Because all he knows is the S, and then he can do things at this point.
Right.
And I think that's my problem with all the Superman movies, is we see as a third person. So it's really hard to identify sometimes unless you have an amazing actor, like Christopher Reeve. And I'm not saying Henry Cavill's performance is bad.
Right.
but he's no Christopher Reeve.
No, he's not. Not even slightly.
And the cool thing about like what Smallville did is we don't start with Superman being sent from Krypton. We start with him as we're going to see him.
Right.
Because we're going to learn about all the stuff with him. Like, when he finds that fortress, that's the first time we should have seen Krypton.
Yeah.
And, I would have been okay with if the hologram Jor-El just explained what happened to him. Because that's what happens in Superman's life. Like, he gets in the first Superman movie and in the comics, Superman gets to go to the Fortress of Solitude teaches him what happened to his people.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should know more than Superman about himself.
Right.
I mean, we all do.
I mean, at least not. Yeah, like at least not until he's. We should probably. I feel like we should learn what Superman knows about his people and his planet, and like along with Superman, and maybe not in thorough detail.
Yeah.
But, I feel it. Yeah, I do feel that's probably part of the problem with like the first scene in Man of Steel. It's like, why are you showing me this? Just, I know that Krypton dies, and I know for a fact that Zod is like a corrupt general that. And I know that the High Council of Krypton is like, no, keep it down. We don't need anyone to know that our planet's exploding.
We don't need mass hysteria.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I know all that. I fucking know, and I understand that you're making Superman for a new generation, but at the same time, there's a good way to do it and there's a bad way to do it, and you're doing the bad way about it, buddy. You're not really holding anyone's interest very well.
Yeah, and that whole scene feels like, I'm going to shake it up, I'm going to innovate on the Krypton story. And it's like, you didn't innovate, you just made an action sequence of the exact same.
You just added, like, dragons and fucking...
spaceships.
Right.
And swimming. Lots of swimming.
And the Matrix, for some reason. But yeah, if I had to sum up how I'd make Superman better, I would make it a fucking 90-minute film. I'd be like, boom, 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 boom.
I could see that. I could see that working.
Like, I understand that Superman really feels like it needs to be an epic, and in certain ways it should.
Yeah.
The story of Superman is an epic story.
It is.
But at the same time, we're absolutely not. We're not a generation that really likes big epics anymore.
Well, you would think that, but it seems like every goddamn movie's a big epic nowadays.
Do you know that like almost every film shown on TV now is almost 3 hours long?
It's ridiculous.
Back when I was a kid, if everything was cut down to 2 hours.
Yeah. 120 minutes, 90 minutes.
Yep.
Standard.
And because this, that's an entirely different beast altogether.
I like 90-minute films because you rarely have to cut anything for television to air them in a 2-hour block.
Right. I mean, if they want to push it, they can just add more commercials. That's an entirely different beast altogether. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just don't think we're a generation that really cottons to like big 3-hour, 3.5-hour epics anymore. Back in the golden age of Hollywood when they were making like Exodus and fucking The Greatest Story Ever Told. I think you could hold their attention for a while longer because going to the movies is all they had at the time.
Yes.
Where nowadays people check their phones like right on their toilets, so they're not going to have any problem checking it in the middle of a movie theater.
Much to my disdain.
Yes, I know. And your job as a director or a writer or anyone who works on a movie, it should be to hold that person in the audience's attention for however long you are airing your movie. And Man of Steel just does not hold.
Well, like I said, I got distracted.
Right. Oh, well, yeah. You had a good reason.
Well, yeah, but still, and the thing is, I was in a theater. A theater is designed for you not to have any distractions.
Right.
But most people don't even watch films the first time in the theater anymore.
No, they do not.
It's a home device. And then every distraction's at your fingertips.
Which kind of screws over certain films because, man, when Scott Pilgrim came out, that was a huge disappointment to me. No, not the film. I love.
Oh no, the film's great.
It's just
Edgar Wright's fantastic.
And I don't understand. Well, I mean, I heard so many people going like, "Yeah, that looks pretty cool. We can't wait to download that." It's like, no, fucking go see it, or else they're not gonna make movies like this.
Which is a shame because we're going to get Batman versus Superman, which, once again, has a great cast except for Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
and it's gonna be because a bunch of people saw Man of Steel. This one's gonna do well too, and we're gonna get a third fucking Snyder film that's just a complete disservice to the characters.
You know, I hope I don't wish any particularly ill will on Batman versus Superman.
I don't. I want the series to succeed.
No, I really do. I want DC to be able to do what Marvel is doing. I want them to be able to interconnect their film series. I want them to be able to make a fun movie-going experience, which almost every Marvel film has been for me.
Yeah.
Except for Iron Man 3, which is...
I had fun with Iron Man 3.
You know what?
Someone is going to take the fucking piss out of Iron Man 3. He's dying to, and I'm going to let him.
I actually thought about choosing Iron Man 3 for this, and I was like, no, I don't even like Iron Man 3 a little bit. Not even slightly. So that's me. But I want a good Superman movie, dude. That's all I really want.
That's all I want to make. Like if I had any choice, like that's always that and fucking Green Lantern are always my goddamn crutches.
I feel so bad for you then.
Oh no! That movie basically just castrated my dreams. Like my dreams weren't going to make any baby dreams after that dream. Yeah. It's just fucking gutted.
Where's my fucking Booster Gold film? That's what I want to know.
Where's my fucking Aquaman film?
Exactly.
But okay, Brandon, this was fun.
It was.
And I'm gonna do. There's a whole Man of Steel long block I have, and I might need someone to talk to me about it. And I might come back to you because I'd like to hear what you have to say about my ideas. What I would do with Man of Steel, what I'd do with the DC universe.
I'd love to do that.
I would love to do this again. This was a really fun first podcast for me.
Cool. I'm glad I was your first time.
Okay, Giant Size Brandon, do you have any plugs? Where can people find you?
I am a writer for Otaku Tonight. Go see whenever you see the name Otaku Tonight at anything you see at a convention, go to it. It's pretty good. I am a stand-up comedian. If you ever see the name Brandon K, that is my stage name, Brandon K. At anything, maybe come laugh at me.
Is that spelled K-A-Y?
K-A-Y.
K-A-Y. Brandon K.
Brandon K. Or I guess I'm ZS Brandon on a Tumblr, or I actually run a Tumblr now called Did You Know Chikara, DIDJANOWCHIKARA. Did You Know Chikara?
And it's about Chikara Pro?
It's about Chikara Pro.
Chikara Pro Wrestling.
It's all the fun facts and all the shit you'd ever want to know about Chikara.
Can they find you on Twitter or whatnot?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I believe I'm Brandon Kyla. That because BRANDUNKYLA, because that's the only way I will ever get people to pronounce my fucking last name right, is to spell it phonetically. I'm on Twitter, Brandon Kyla. On Facebook, Brandon K. GS Brandon on Tumblr, or the Did You Know Chikara.
Otaku Tonight can be found on Facebook at Otaku Tonight. It can be found on Twitter at Otaku Tonight. Any parting words?
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am Thomas Sinclair. I can be found at the T Sinclair at Twitter. And Born to Wrestle, Thomas Sinclair on Facebook. That seems to be doing decently. You can see me at many an open mic. You can probably find me at this podcast. I'll probably put a bunch of those videos online. Any professional wrestling show that someone decides they want to watch me kick someone in the head and then get the crap beat out of my bald ass, I'll be there. Till next time. That was I Want to Like This, Man of Steel with Brandon K. If you want to hear more from Brandon K, follow him on his social medias. His Twitter and his Tumblr are in the links below. Of course, you can always find us at I Want to Like This on Twitter, and you can find us at I Want to Like This on Facebook as well as here. So feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. Join the conversation. I more than would love to hear what you think about Man of Steel. Was it a disappointment to you? Is that the direction you think the DC universe should go? All Nolan-versy? Let me know. And thanks for listening. You can find us here at I Want to Like This at I Want to Like This on Twitter, or I want to like this on Facebook. I, Thomas Sinclair, can be found at the T Sinclair on Twitter and the Thomas Sinclair on Facebook. Till next week, have a great day.